In this episode of Power Women of Queens, Luchia Dragsoh meets Dr. Sharon B. DeVivo, the president of Vaughn College of Aeronautics and Technology.
We often talk about here, it's not about just changing a student's story, that we're trying to change a whole family story. Yeah, we're in a very male-dominated field still. However, I have been here since 1996, and when I started, we were 4% female. And today we're somewhere between 12 to 14%. So we're still not where we want to be, but we've definitely made good strides.
QPTV presents Power Women of Queens, a series that highlights the everyday female decision maker, political leader, manager, and scientist as the norm, not the exception. The women featured are everyday women, mothers, wives, sisters, and co-workers whose actions have contributed to the Queens community. Dr. Sharon B. DeVivo has been with Vaughn College since 1996 and president since 2014. She is the 7th president of the institution and the first woman to hold the office in the college's history. During her tenure, she has been responsible for various aspects of the institution, including academic affairs, development, admission, financial aid, student affairs, and public affairs. Her strategic objective is to transform teaching and learning and create a unique Vaughn academic experience both inside and outside the classroom that engages faculty and students.
You're the first woman to become president at Vaughn College.
Yes.
Do you feel like a pioneer?
Well, that would very much match sort of this institution's history, right? To have been involved with aviation since 1932 means that we are one of the pioneer institutions in terms of offering aviation education and training. So yeah, it just is a good fit.
Do you think as a woman you have a different perspective and different input when it comes to your role as a president of the college?
Well, I certainly approach it the way that I think is the best for the institution. Whether that's male or female, I'm not really sure. But I do know that one of the areas that I really focus on is how we support women on campus, especially since there's not a lot of women represented in aviation and engineering fields. So it's really an opportunity to show our female students on campus that you can do this. So.
Have you seen growth in women joining the college, or it's more male dominated?
So yeah, we're in a very male dominated field still. However, I have been here since 1996, and when I started, we were 4% female. And today we're somewhere between 12 to 14%. So we're still not where we want to be, but we've definitely made good strides. You know, and some of that comes in terms of outreach to middle school and high school students, providing role models for students when they're here in terms of faculty members, and also making sure there's support in place in terms of clubs, organizations, to make sure that women feel comfortable and are very much a part of our community.
What would you say it's one program that it truly supports women in the college?
So we have a student organization called WIN, which is Women Who Nurture and Inspire, and they work on programming throughout the year to bring women together and make connections, and we oftentimes have a lot of men sit in on those too. But that's probably one place that we've really seen some improvement. Also, we've had, in the last 3 years, we have a chapter of the Society of Women Engineers, and so that's really focused around having support for our women engineering students. And we also have a Women in Aviation chapter, which is an international organization. They go to their national conference, they host middle school and high school students here, they go out to schools, all the organizations go out to schools as well to promote the field, do things like LED headband projects, and inspire girls to really think about aviation and STEM careers.
We have a show called The STEM Girls, and we're big proponents of
Yeah.
inspiring the youth, and especially girls, to enter STEM professions. How important it is, you think, in this college to emphasize on that?
So, you know, it's very interesting. If you look at the research, The reason boys tend to be interested in STEM fields is because of the toys, right? Great opportunity to do things with computers or simulators, and for girls, what they found is it's really about how can I make a difference in the world. And you will hear that echoed in the hallways by our female students in engineering and aviation is about how can I change the world. And so providing those kinds of opportunities for students. We have an Engineers Without Borders organization that's actually led by a woman. And this is where engineering students go to mostly third world countries and work on a project to change the lives of the people in that community. So we haven't actually been on an international project yet. We've done some domestic work, but it's mostly around water systems and, you know, for a lot of third world countries, water supply, a clean water supply is really important to the health of that community. So that's one way that our female students really feel empowered to change the world.
What would you say is your proudest moment in the college?
Oh, that's easy. Yeah, when students get incredible jobs as a result of their education. So there was a study published in the New York Times in January that looked at institutions across the country and those that were the best in terms of moving students from the bottom 40% to the top 40% in income. And it looked at 2002 grads and where they were 15 years later. So it wasn't just right after graduation. And the #1 institution in the country was Vaughn College.
Wow, that must have made you very proud.
Oh, incredibly proud, because it was real evidence that the mission of the institution, which is to change the world one student at a time with a transformational experience to create a lifetime of opportunity, that was the evidence that we were doing what we said we set out to do.
Do you feel like this is your mission? This is what you're meant to do?
Yes. You know, we often talk about here, it's not about just changing a student's story, that we're trying to change a whole family story. You know, we have about 76% of our students are Pell eligible. Our average family income is $33,000. We serve an incredibly diverse population, proportion-wise, one of the most diverse institutions in the country, and mostly first-generation college students. And so to take that student and that family and to provide them with a gateway and an opportunity that's going to last their entire lifetime is really what makes this job compelling and fun.
You're obviously very young and very accomplished. What would you say are the biggest qualities of your character that got you where you are today?
I think it's resilience. So I'm a Navy brat, so I grew up living all around the world, went to 17 schools in 12 years. So you figure out a way to adapt pretty quickly when you get into a new situation. And that ability to work with people who think differently and come from different backgrounds, I think that was a real important part of my ability to be successful here. And that's a skill that we need to teach students anyway, right? Whether it's K through 12 or college, you know, about how to bounce back from life's difficulties and how to have a support team around you that can really make you successful. And that's what we try to do for our students as well.
I know this facility have a lot of new technology like drones and 3D printing and all these cool things. How do you think that shifts education in a different direction?
So we've always been an institution focused on not only the theoretical knowledge, but also the practical application, right? So making that theoretical knowledge real to students as much as we possibly can. So the laboratory experience has always been very important for us. And I think education in general is shifting in that direction, right? We've got a fair number of high school and sometimes middle school partners too, that are looking for that real hands-on kind of approach because it makes the learning real and it deepens and broadens the knowledge for students and keeps them excited and engaged.
Can you give me a sense of some of the fields the graduates from Vaughn College are involved in?
Absolutely. So we have a great statistic. 98% of our students are employed within 1 year or continuing their education within 1 year of graduation, 81% in their field. So clearly we offer careers in all aspects of aviation, right? So pilots, certified flight instructors, regional airline pilots, aircraft maintenance technicians, but also things that folks might not think of, like air traffic control. Great positions. In this region, you can make upwards of 6 figures, and it's a terrific job. And we do some of the initial training before you go off for further training with the Federal Aviation Administration. Also, automation technology, so our mechatronics engineering program, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. Those students are going on to get positions in freight companies, believe it or not, that are automating cargo movements, or Pratt & Whitney up in Connecticut, Sikorsky helicopters, several really well-paying jobs in the region, so electrical engineers, mechanical engineers. And then we have a whole management division, so airport management. We've got this incredible renovation project going on across the street at LaGuardia Airport. They're going to invest something like $8 billion over the next 6 years. And there's a new airport terminal operator, LaGuardia Gateway Partners, and they've actually taken on our students as interns and have hired several of our students even before they graduated. They work for the Port Authority. So lots of opportunities in terms of technology, engineering, and aviation positions.
Do you think this industry is changing and is evolving as more and more unmanned technology come into play?
Absolutely. I mean, there was just some articles in the last few days about would you get on a plane without a pilot? But I think I think there's, right, I think a lot of people would feel that way. I think we're quite a ways from that. And the prediction, actually, the outlook for particularly for the aviation positions, you know, we need something like 87 pilots a day for the next 20 years in order to meet the demand. We need more than 600,000 aviation maintenance technicians, you know, another 600,000 or 700,000 cabin crew. So the opportunities and the demand is just incredible over the next 20 years. And we're seeing increases in salary, quicker routes to hiring, particularly for the pilots who need a certain number of flight hours. So lots of opportunities, particularly as the age force is retiring. So this is absolutely a wonderful time if you're interested in aviation, engineering, technology fields.
If you can give an advice to the 18-year-old, 19-year-old, to the youth of Queens, what would that be?
Follow your passion. So many of our students, particularly those that are interested in aviation, you know, they're the ones parked outside watching the airplanes take off and watching, you know, videos online in the Discovery Channel. Robotics students, you know, they tinker, you know, from when they're kids. And so I say follow your passion, you know, because if you're following your passion, then it's not going to feel like work. And there are lots of ways to get through college. Don't put a box around yourself and decide, well, I can't afford that, or that's too hard, or, you know, find a support team that's really going to help you on your dream. You know, but believe in yourself, because we often have students who come and I'll say to them, you know, how'd you get interested in Vaughn? And they'll say, nobody in my family is interested in this field, but I am. And I give them so much credit for taking that first step, right? Sometimes that's all it takes. And when you're here, we'll give you that support to help you get through. But follow your passion.